Early spring in Chapel Hill. Cool and drizzly for college softball today. He doesn't mind, though. Number 13, Virginia Tech, coming to Anderson Stadium, ready to face the North Carolina Tar Heels, who open their ACC slate today. Hey everybody, happy Friday. Thanks so much for starting off your weekend with us, alongside the former Florida State Seminole, Kalen Arnold. My name is Matt Krause. Well, Kalen, conference play for Virginia Tech, weekend 2 in the ACC. North Carolina starts their league journey today. These games are different, aren't they?
These games are so different. You have a little bit more added pressure because you want to come out on top. Conference games, so important for these athletes.
Well, Virginia Tech, if there's any trend that's carried over from non-conference into the league slate, is that the ball is absolutely flying off these Hokies bats.
Virginia Tech has had some hot and heavy hitters. Jamie Bailey, Bre Peck, Madison Hansen, Emma Ritter, just to name a few. They are now leading the ACC with 45 home runs.
Those 45 homers, third nationally, but Virginia Tech does lead the nation in home runs per game. Last 6 games for Virginia Tech. This is a 3-game series against NC State to open up the league slate, plus 3 midweek non-conference games, hitting nearly 350 with 18 home runs. Virginia Tech has started off the month of March blazing at the plate. So the mission for North Carolina today, keep the ball in the ballpark, and the Tar Heels will rely on Bailey McCachran to try and do that. McCachran, the starting pitcher for the Tar Heels, and she will face this lineup for Virginia Tech here today. Just see a look there at Bailey McCachran.
McCachran, a junior who's going to rely pretty heavily on her curve and her screw. She's going to stay mid to upper 60s, and Coach Papa believes that she's going to be big for the Tar Heels this season.
So McCachran, the transfer from the University of Tennessee. You get a look there at the numbers for McCachran, trying to establish herself as the number 2 starting pitcher for North Carolina. That's what Donna Papa thought that McCachran would be when she transferred in from Tennessee, behind Lily Backus, now sophomore. And you get a look at the lineup for Virginia Tech now, the starting 9 for the Hokies. It's been a pretty consistent group throughout this year. Cameron Fagan is a real table setter at the top of the lineup, right behind Emma Ritter. The preseason All-ACC selection is critical in getting Virginia Tech's offense going.
Member of the Army ROTC program. Jordan will graduate in May with a Bachelor of Science in Biology with a minor in Military Science.
We'll have a ceremonial first pitch here, as it is Military Appreciation Day at Anderson Stadium.
As a quartermaster officer. Jordan served as the softball manager for Carolina softball her freshman and sophomore year.
So a former Carolina softball student manager,
to our program,
now a member of the ROTC program.
Please join us in giving Jordan a warm welcome.
Jordan Huffman will throw this ceremonial first pitch. Here she goes.
There we go, Jordan. Thank you.
Pete Demore, season number 5 at Virginia Tech, hired from Kennesaw State, the longtime assistant in his alma mater, Missouri. And Kalen, what he has done for Virginia Tech softball has been very, very impressive. A couple of ACC regular season titles in his first 4 years.
It sure has. He has really turned that program around and put them on the map, getting incredibly talented players to come to Virginia Tech who, you know, leave large legacies like Akili Richard. He's done a fantastic job so far.
And in the other dugout, Donna J. Papa, longtime head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels in her 38th season. She's got the money ball in hand, and over 1,300 wins in her tenure at North Carolina. She's been in the Hall of Fame since 2012.
When you think of softball and softball legends, you really do think of Donna Papa. She has been a part of this Tar Heel program for so long. She has so much softball knowledge and has a lot of respect from players and coaches all across the nation.
So Coach Papa's team starting off their ACC journey here today against a Virginia Tech team that is absolutely red hot. 17-4 on the season. 3 of those 4 setbacks came in the course of their play at the Clearwater Elite Invitational, the prestigious early season non-conference tournament. So McCachran will go to work facing Emma Ritter. First pitch sails to the backstop. We are underway. 53 degrees and drizzly as Ritter stands in for the Hokies. This series originally scheduled Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as ACC series are, due to the threat of more inclement weather on Sunday. Already, the series finale has been moved to Saturday, so these teams will play one game today and then a doubleheader tomorrow, 2:30 on ACC Network Extra and 6 o'clock on ACC Network.
Love to see McCachran, you know, still smiling. She's thrown 2 kind of wild pitches to start off the game. I completely understand, you know, first of the game jitters is a real thing. You get really jacked up when you first start going. But I like to see that smile on her face, and hopefully she settles in pretty soon.
She gets a foul ball for the first strike, 2-1 now. Emma Ritter leading Virginia Tech at the plate this year. 420 average. 10 of her 29 hits have gone for extra bases. Smacks one up the middle, handled by Alex Brown. And Ritter thrown out by a step. The Carolina defense making the play on the initial ball in play of our contest today. Kiana Jones at first base for the Tar Heels, former outfielder. Destiny Middleton has been the mainstay at third for Donna Papa's team over the last 4 years. Cameron Fagan, who we talked about, Virginia Tech order. Left-handed hitting second baseman will be next.
The youngest of the Fagan crew, keeping that legacy going that her sisters began, all of her siblings playing at high-level softball programs.
She is the 4th of 4 sisters to play Power 5 softball. Fagan lifts one to left, easily playable for Carson Sneed, 2 down. It's quite the legacy to live up to, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I couldn't imagine that many sisters all playing at that high of a level. That's, you know, that speaks to the athletic genes in that family.
So McCachran's retired her first 2. Jamie Bailey next, veteran first baseman for the Hokies. What are you seeing from McCachran as she's missed high on all 3 of her first pitches so far?
Like I said earlier, pregame jitters, and 2, she knows how dangerous this Hokies lineup is. So I'm sure she is thinking, like, I don't want to give them anything too good. I don't want to leave anything over the plate, because if I do, there's a chance that they're going to take it out of the yard. So I have to be really careful with that. But as a pitcher, you definitely want to try to get ahead in the count and then expand the zone.
Fell behind 2-0 on Ritter, 1-0 on Fagan, now down 2-0 against Bailey. Bailey into center field for the game's first hit.
Up next for Virginia Tech, the right fielder and number 6, Addie Green.
Addie Green stands in next for the Hokies. Left-handed hitting right fielder. When you look around this Virginia Tech lineup, you see so many faces that have played different defensive positions throughout their career. Green certainly goes in that category. She's found a home in right field this year. But the versatility defensively has been a hallmark of Pete DeMoore's roster, and even more so as he gets deeper into his recruits in Blacksburg.
He even went as far to say that this may be one of the best defensive teams that he's ever had.
And he said that's not just at Virginia Tech, that's not just at Kennesaw State, where he's previously a head coach, but it includes his decade stint at Missouri. He was a long-time assistant. Hokies team has committed just 12 errors in 21 games so far this year. Good front door curveball for strike 2.
I think she's settled in a little bit more with this batter, gotten ahead. Now she's able to relax and throw her pitches.
Ball and 2 strikes on Green. McCachran trying to strand Bailey aboard and end the inning. Strike 3 called. A looking strikeout of Addie Green, and Bailey McCachran puts a 0 on the scoreboard. Tar Heels coming to bat for the first time when we come back. The eyes of a competitor, Emma Lemley, the 2-time reigning ACC Pitcher of the Week, last year's ACC Freshman of the Year. These numbers are almost video game-like, Kayla.
They are. Emma Lemley, who has done a fantastic job of taking over that leadership role once held by Keely Richard. She's mainly rise, but this season she's feeling more comfortable with her drop and her change, and she's going to stay mid to upper 60s.
Lemley will go to work against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Destiny Middleton up first. Middleton swings and fouls off the first pitch. Here's the rest of the North Carolina lineup behind Middleton. As you come to expect from the Tar Heels through the years, it's very lefty heavy. Bree Stubbs leading the team at the plate this year, due up third this spring. Oh, 1. Fires it in there at the letters. It's an interesting point that Pete DeMore made about Lemley's growth. Last year he said, okay, it's going to be rise ball. Here it is. Try and hit it. That was her strategy, but she's such an effective pitcher that more often than not, opponents couldn't. 0-2. Middleton does make contact with this one. It'll hang up for Peck in center.
I mean, right there is proof of the pudding. She threw 3 straight rise balls, okay? Got, 3 straight pitches, really good pitches, strikes, and then got the pop-up.
So Peck retires Middleton, and Lemley able to set down the first batter she faces. Now she'll go to work against Abby Settlemyre. Settlemyre drops the bunt down, forces Aldridge to make a play, and Settlemyre is out. Not a bad idea there for Carolina to try and test this Virginia Tech defense, but Kylie Aldridge, the young catcher for the Hokies, able to fire it down there to Fagan covering.
The previous play is under review.
And Shard. This review continues to go on. You get a look at Lemley's numbers. 103 strikeouts and a 10-1 record. No sophomore slump for this hurler.
No, that's absolutely incredible numbers, especially for someone as young as Lemley. I mean, it seems to be that she's following right in Keely Richard's footsteps, getting those high strikeout numbers. Really, really great record. Super low ERA.
Call is confirmed. Settlemyre is out. So bases clear, 2 down for Carolina's leading hitter, Bre Stubbs, coming up. And pretty safe to say, Keelan, that that's the right call right there.
Yes, I completely agree. That was the right call. That rise ball that we were talking about earlier. Just such good late break on that pitch. You can see like it's coming in the zone, and then just last minute you can see it jump.
See if she goes back to it on 0-1. Yep.
It's gorgeous. I love a good rise ball.
But you and I were talking off the air prior to the game, and you said the rise ball is the hardest pitch to master for young pitchers.
It is. It is the complete opposite of anything that they're used to throwing because the ball is spinning backwards.
An 0-2. Good eye by Stubbs. Fly out, ground out, now a 1-2 pitch to Stubbs. Lemley fires. Swing and a miss, adding a strikeout to a 1-2-3 last of the first inning.
First for the Hokies, DH number 14, Emma Jackson.
Donna J. Papa says that when the Tar Heels initiated contact with Bailey McCachran and she was in the transfer portal, the initial conversations revealed very quickly that Bailey is a Carolina kid, and she's put up some pretty good numbers in her first season in Chapel Hill.
She has, and as a transfer myself, I can understand how important it is to feel like you belong to the program that you're going to, and so it's really nice to hear that from Coach Papa that McCachran was able to assimilate easily into the Tar Heel program.
She'll face Emma Jackson of Virginia Tech to start off the top of the second. And with the transfer portal now so much a staple of college athletics in this modern world, that second recruiting process, that's different from the initial recruiting process in high school.
It definitely is completely different because these coaches are now able to see what you did at your previous university and whether or not they were a fan of yours. And so I know when I went into the transfer portal, there were several schools that I didn't even imagine would consider me, and then they reached out and like wanted to talk about me possibly becoming a part of their program. So it does make things a little bit easier.
Jackson tags it to center. Stubbs takes it down. So McCachran did surrender the 2-out single to Bailey in the first inning, but she's been effective at keeping Virginia Tech in the yard. The Hokies leading the nation in home runs per game. So far, so good for McCachran.
Right, and I think she has a good plan going in, trying to keep these pitches out of the zone and not give them anything too good. Like we said earlier, you don't want these hitters who have hit so many home runs to take one out on you.
Bre Peck is the center fielder for Virginia Tech this season, a player that Pete Demore says is going to be the best athlete on the field in any given game, and she can play anywhere. And the count 1-0. McCachran down in the count yet again. We're 2-0 now. Saw the numbers for McCackern as we came back from break. The walk number a touch higher than strikeouts. Came into the day 12 strikeouts, 14 walks. In danger of putting Peck aboard here. Taking all the way 3-1.
Walks are something that you really want to try and avoid as much as possible because it's a free base, and then you open up a potential opportunity for them to score if, you know, the next hitter or the hitter after that is able to get a solid hit.
Well, with Virginia Tech, the way the Hokies swing the bat, you put somebody aboard via a walk, all of a sudden a solo home run becomes a 2-run homer.
Right, and that's something that, especially at this level, it's so common. Walks will kill you.
First free pass issued by McCackern. She'll deal with Kelsey Bennett, the third baseman for the Hokies.
Next for Virginia Tech is the third baseman at number 8, Kelsey Bennett.
Bennett's offensive numbers this year, probably not where she would want them to be at 217, but is such an effective left side of the infield defender. She's played third, she's played short in her Virginia Tech career, that Pete DeMoore prioritizing defense keeps her in the lineup day in and day out.
Plus, she's also a senior. She's an upperclassman. She's had that experience. She can come in clutch. She's already hit 4 home runs.
Stings this one to Middleton, hesitates, goes the short route to get the lead runner Peck. Good defensive play by the Tar Heels. That was a smart play there from Destiny Middleton in the sense that she could have fired it across the diamond to first, probably in plenty of time to get Bennett, but realized she had time to get the lead runner, and 2 outs and a runner at first is a whole lot different from 2 down and a runner in scoring position.
Right, you want to get the lead runner. You want to be looking ahead and seeing who you have on first base, understanding their speed. Are they going to be someone who's going to be able to steal, make it to the bag really quick, and then know from that point where you want to go with the ball.
Allie Aldridge, a North Carolina native and a freshman. Taking over the primary starting catcher duties. This is her 16th start of the season. Grace Chavez has gotten some time back there as well. Tech did not lose much off the super regional team from last year, but some really big shoes to fill at catcher with Mackenzie Lauder gone. Pop fly right side. Settlemyre is there. Back-to-back zeros put on the scoreboard by Bailey McCackern. Virginia Tech strands a runner, and the Tar Heels come to bat again after this. The ACC more competitive than ever on the softball diamond. These Virginia Tech Hokies picked second in the league by my broadcast partner's alma mater. Kalen Arnold's Florida State Seminoles selected preseason number 1. Clemson 21-1 on the season on a similar meteoric rise to the Duke Blue Devils. Meanwhile, North Carolina number 11 in the ACC preseason poll as they play their league opener here today.
So interesting to see preseason polls, see where everybody's ranked, and then start to see things unfold and how it actually ends up turning out where, like you said, Clemson 21-1. I mean, they're absolutely killing it right now, probably going up to number 1 in the ACC.
Clemson swept Syracuse to open up league play for them last weekend. They step out of conference play for a home non-conference tournament this week. Meanwhile, for North Carolina, they've got that chip on their shoulder. Pick number 11 in the preseason poll. And it's Tar Heels, one of the 3 teams that didn't make the ACC tournament last year. Donna J. Papa's team trying to work their way back among conference contenders. Emma Lemley firing in strikes ahead 0-2 on Skylar Brooks.
The way that this season has started for the Tar Heels was not at all what Donna Papa expected for them based off of what she saw them doing in the fall. She said she saw their bats. They looked hot. It looked like they were going to have a lot of power in the lineup. She thought their pitching looked really, really great. So she was a little disappointed with the win-loss record going into this season.
Brooks strikes out swinging. Back-to-back Ks for Lemley.
And this is yet another rise ball by Emma Lemley. Just, I mean, right over the middle of the plate. That shows you how confident she is in attacking the zone. And Coach Pete DeMoore did talk about that in our interview with him. He said that Emma is someone who is going to attack the zone. She's going to say, hey, here's my rise ball. Can you hit it?
Kirsten Lisea, the first true right-handed batter for the Tar Heels in the lineup. Veteran designated player taking her cuts at Lemley now. Yeah, it's an interesting point Coach DeMoore was making, that yes, Lemley's expanded her repertoire this year. She's worked on refining her game, becoming an even better pitcher, but still, she'll go back to her roots. Here is my rise ball, try and hit the thing.
I mean, when it's your bread and butter pitch, when it's what you go to in the tough situations, and it's on that day, why not? Throw it back to back to back until they prove to you that they can hit it.
She's fallen behind Lisea here after 2 straight strikeouts. Nothing. I assume Lisea is taking all the way here.
I can relate to Lemley a lot. I was a rise ball pitcher. That's what I threw 90% of the time. So I was going low in the zone with that rise, then trying to expand the zone with it, going in and out, trying to add a little bit of curve to it, a little bit of screw to it. So it definitely does make it difficult when you throw a good rise ball and maybe it's just right there at the top of the zone and they don't call it for a strike and they don't swing at it.
And there's a feeling out process early in games with each individual umpire.
Definitely. Some of them like the ball higher in the zone. Some of them prefer the ball lower in the zone. I didn't like those umpires very much. I liked the ones who preferred it higher in the zone. But yeah, when they did prefer it lower in the zone, I would do what I just said and try to add a little bit of a curve to it or a little bit of a screw to it so that it's still rising a little bit, but it's got more east-west movement than up movement.
Is that a decision that you make on your own, or does that come from the dugout?
So it's something that we talked about in the bullpen sessions. Like right there, that was a really, really great low rise pitch that was just right in on her hands to get the strikeout. Right here you can see just right in there. Beautiful pitch. It's got that pretty late break. It's missing the barrel, and you can see she's trying to get her barrel up in the zone by starting that bat up high, reminding herself, hey, you got to get it up here. She's doing the same thing. But when you can successfully locate that pitch low in the zone and then climb the ladder, it's so difficult as a hitter to make that adjustment.
Kiana Jones next to face Lemley here, hitting just above 170 on the season.
But going back to the conversation in the bullpen, we would talk about it during practice. We would go through specific situations where we would want to do that. So technically I would make the decision in game, but I knew that it was the right one.
3 straight strikeouts to retire the side. Emma Lemley, there's a smile from the 2-time reigning ACC Pitcher of the Week. How many ACC teams will make their way to Oklahoma City? That seems to be the question around the softball world this year. 4 of them in the top 15, including these Virginia Tech Hokies checking in at 13th in this week's poll.
I would love to see all 4 of those teams at the Women's College World Series this year. I'd really like to see at least 2 of them, and I do truly believe that all 4 of them have a real chance of being there and, you know, making history by having 2 ACC teams at the World Series at once.
Virginia Tech is one of just 2 ACC programs to make it to Oklahoma City. They did so in 2008. Florida State, as you well know, the 2018 national champions, the first ACC team to win it all. But as you alluded to, Kayla, never before have two ACC teams gone in 1 year. And it felt like last year might have been the year. Virginia Tech was tripped up in the home super regional. They were 1 win away from Oklahoma City. Florida State uncharacteristically didn't make it out of the regional round. And so it was kind of an anticlimactic end to a year of buildup around the ACC.
It was definitely not what I expected last season at all from the ACC, especially with this Virginia Tech Hokies team having Keely Richard and the other amazing seniors that they ended up losing. And I really wanted that for Keely. I wanted her to experience a World Series.
McCachran ahead 1-2 on Tegan Thrunk. Thrunk, one of 8 true freshmen on the Virginia Tech roster. Not part of that super regional team from a year ago. Cuts and misses it one well out of the zone. Good job by McCachran to Fuller.
I like this pitch. She goes down and away to get that swing and miss. You can see the look on her face. She was, oh man, I shouldn't have swung at that.
Back to the top of the order, though, for Emma Ritter, who's hit by the first pitch from McCachran. So Emma Ritter makes her way aboard with 1 down. And this is a danger spot for McCachran. She was falling behind batters in that first time through the order. Made it through without surrendering a run, gave up just 1 hit and 1 walk. But now in that second time through here for Virginia Tech, they've seen McCachran and they'll be more settled in, and it's a tough spot for the transfer lefty.
Definitely, and like you said, coming up into the really hot part of their lineup, you don't want to have anybody on base with these hitters coming up.
Cameron Fagan flew out to left her first time. Moore said that Ritter and Fagan at the top of the order, similar players. Quite honestly, they could be flip-flopped at the top of the order, but says he goes with Ritter in that leadoff spot because she's just a little bit quicker for the base stealing aspect. Fagan, fly ball to left. Carson Sneed's there. 2 plate appearances, 2 flyouts to Carson Sneed for Fagan.
It's a good job by McCachran after that leadoff hit by pitch to be able to get that next out and kind of stop the momentum.
Hold the runner at first as well. Jamie Bailey, the only Hokie with a hit so far today. She singled straight back up the middle in the first.
McCachran has pretty consistently started behind in the count, and what that's going to do is it's going to increase her pitch count, and she's not going to be able to go as long as maybe Coach Papa would like her to.
Toss down to second. Ritter in there safely. Looks like Virginia Tech is trying to bunt her over and not called a strike. Take a look here. Nothing. Runner in scoring position for the first time today. And North Carolina has, you could say, a deeper pitching staff than Virginia Tech, only in the sense that there are more arms that are traditionally used. Virginia Tech is, Lemley is #1, then you've got maybe 2 or 3 other arms that they'll go to. Carolina's been mixing in 5 different pitchers throughout the year. Backus, Lily Backus, the sophomore, #1, but it's essentially an open competition for who's going to get the majority of the innings behind her. And as you see with McCachran starting this ACC opener, it shows where she stands in that competition as of now.
There's a little bit of a miscommunication on the count.
And I think this discussion goes back to the bunt where Ritter stole the base. I think the Carolina dugout thought that it had been called a strike and that she stabbed at it. In which case the count would be 2-2. Chris Neighbors is our plate umpire today. Amaris Addison's at first, Shane Jackson at third. Mr. Jackson jogs in for a conversation. It's 3-1. Everybody's on the same page. And McCachran deals. Walked her.
Going back to what you had previously said about the number of arms that Carolina has on their staff, it is what you're seeing more now in the game of softball. Usually it's been, one pitcher that has been the main arm, and then you have one or two, sort of how Virginia Tech is set up.
Half swing pop up. Play made by Bre Stubbs. Well, Bailey McCachran has kept the Hokies off the scoreboard. Middle of the third. Like a fancy new television. 4Ks for Emma Lemley in her first 2 innings of work.
Yes, Emma Lemley getting Stubbs, Brooks, Lycia Jones, all on that rise ball. That has been so effective for her today.
So Lemley has retired the first 6 Tar Heels in order, the last 4 via the strikeout. Came into play leading the ACC, already up over 100 strikeouts in the season, just about a month old. She'll face Isabella Emmerling to get things started. Emmerling, Alex Brown, Carson Sneed in the bottom of the Tar Heel order in the home half of the third. Now, as impressive as Lemley has been for Virginia Tech, and when we were starting this conversation last half inning, Virginia Tech, you would think, to go deep in the postseason, they need to develop another arm or two.
I completely agree with you. It's so rare now to see people like Emma Lemley, like the Keely Richard and the Montana Fouts, who are the singular arm that you see majority of the time for these teams. Now we see teams who are shifting more towards that baseball mindset with a staff and throwing multiple arms throughout the season so that you have longevity when it gets to the postseason.
Lemley last year was behind Richard, and it was perhaps the best 1-2 punch that Virginia Tech has had, certainly in Pete Demore's time there, and that makes the falling 1 game short of Oklahoma City even more frustrating for the Hokies. Meanwhile, Lemley trying to strike out Emmerling, and will do so 5 in a row.
Again, with that rise ball, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I was excited before this one because you hear all about Emma Lemley and the developments that she's made from year 1 to year 2 and expanding her repertoire, and she has not needed to do that very much. Ball in play, that's a rarity, and a low throw. Carolina has their first base runner. Alex Brown with the knock, and the Tar Heels have some business here in the bottom of the third. It is an infield single.
It looks like Fagan over at second maybe had a little misfooting or a misstep, which is what caused that throw down into the dirt. We have to remember the dirt is wet. It is rainy and cold outside, so it might have slipped a little bit.
Weather, the unfortunate backdrop to this weekend series, playing amidst some overcast skies, off and on drizzle throughout the day here today. 2 teams will play a doubleheader tomorrow. Should be pretty nice tomorrow. And Sunday, expected rain, and therefore no game on Sunday. Carson Sneed at the plate, down 0-1 in the count. Making 0-2. When you think North Carolina softball, you think about lefty slap hitters. It is a hallmark of Donna J. Papa's program. 6 of them in the lineup here today. Coach Papa told us that the key to good slaps, if the ball can bounce twice before it gets to the infielder, you've got a really high success rate of getting on base. There's a bouncing ball. The short, they'll go the short route for 1. And that's the mantra that she keeps preaching to these slap hitters. Make it bounce twice.
I think it's so interesting because in my eyes, when I first came into the game, came into college back in 2016, the slap game was huge. Slappers were everywhere. And then they did the rule change, the out-of-the-box rule, and that made a huge impact on the slap game. And you saw a lot of colleges move away from that and try to embrace the power hitters a little bit more. And so now I feel like you see more power hitting teams than you do speed teams.
Virginia Tech's certainly a power hitting team, leading the nation in homers per game, top 3 in the country in overall home runs. And it felt like around 2019 or so, there were a ton of batters getting called out for being out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy how tightly, they kind of gripped to that rule. And now, I mean, I don't see anybody getting called out of the box anymore in 2023. So I just think that's really interesting.
Shows you how the game evolves in a very short period of time. Cut and a miss, runner takes off, throw down is not quite in time. Carson Sneed with the stolen bag.
It's a really great jump by Sneed. And see, she gets that hand in there before the tag is made.
The Tar Heels turn their first base runner into a first runner in scoring position, but an 0-2 count on Middleton with 2 outs. Emma Lemley, 5 straight strikeouts from the last out of the first through the first out of this 3rd inning. Gave up the infield single, followed by a fielder's choice. Trying to preserve the 0 on the scoreboard for the Tar Heels. Another 0-2 to Middleton. Looper hit back up into center field. Throw to the plate, and Sneed is out. A great defensive play from Virginia Tech to keep this game scoreless. Tar Heels tried to push the envelope, but the game stays tied at 0. Scoreless game here in Chapel Hill, but should it truly be tied at 0? Let's take a closer look at this last play.
So from that angle, you can't really see it, but from this angle, if you pay attention, she does not actually get tagged with the ball. So she should have been safe, and that should have been a run for North Carolina.
Instead, it's the final out of the inning. The Tar Heels opted not to challenge, and we stay tied at 0 on to the 4th. Emma Jackson, Bre Peck, Kelsey Bennett, 5, 6, and 7 in the Hokie order, facing Bailey McCachran, who, while she's fallen behind in counts, has found herself able to retire Virginia Tech and get the Hokies to make weak contact today.
She's done a really good job of keeping this dangerous Hokies lineup off balance and holding them to only 1 hit.
That was a Jamie Bailey single in the first. Hokies have drawn a couple of walks at a hit batter. But it's the Tar Heels out hitting the Hokies 2-1 at the moment.
It makes me think of what Coach Pete DeMore had said to us, that you have to take every game so seriously because anybody can win in this league. This league is now so dangerous. The ACC is so talented on all different levels. Every team is a threat. So you can't take one game off or you could end up losing.
You look at Virginia Tech last year. Granted, University of Virginia was much improved last season from where they've been in recent years, but one of their 2 ACC losses was against the Cavaliers. North Carolina last season, one of the 3 teams that failed to qualify for the ACC tournament. Their final ACC win came against Florida State, one of the best teams in the nation. Really speaks to that point. 2-2.
I think the game as a whole is starting to turn that way just across the nation on all levels. I mean, we've seen so many upsets this season that you would not expect, and I think it just speaks to that any team has the potential to win, whether you're a mid-major or the best team in the country.
Jackson really battling here against McCachran. You look at Virginia Tech, and you wonder, how can number 13 in the country be a team that's pulled a big upset? But they went to Austin and beat Texas. That is not an easy feat whatsoever.
Definitely not, especially not in Texas, at Texas. That is a tough environment.
The tournament they played there. Jackson slaps it. Middleton on to first. North Carolina is playing really solid defense. McCachran is allowing Virginia Tech to put the ball in play, but the Tar Heel defense is playing well behind her.
I don't know if you could see it, but I love how hyped up catcher Isabella Emmerling got when that play was made. She was so excited for her teammate, and that's what you've got to have. You've got to have every single person on the team to your left and to your right hyping you up when you do big things.
Bre Peck next for Virginia Tech here. She drew a walk her first time. And given the body language of the Tar Heels here today and the way in which they're battling against Virginia Tech, you would not know that this is an 8-13 team that has really sputtered of late. An energetic dugout, trying to cheer their teammates on to would be another major upset we're just talking about.
It's like how we talked about at the beginning in conference play. It's completely different from anything else.
Bre Peck, Hokies on the board.
That is, I believe, Bre Peck's 6th home run of the season.
And with a lineup like Virginia Tech's, it felt like it was just a matter of time.
Definitely, and you can see it looks like it's a pitch on the outside corner that was left just a little too sweet, and she was able to take that opposite field over the fence.
Not exactly a high, majestic shot, just kind of a laser line drive that crawled over the right field fence. So now if you're McCachran and you've been pitching well all game, eventually Virginia Tech does break the ice there and strike first on a trademark long ball. How do you bounce back mentally?
Well, I think in that situation, all you can say to yourself is, hey, it was a solo shot. They've scored 1 run. Big deal. I'm going to move forward. Now, if it would have been, 2-run shot, 3-run shot, that would be a little bit different. But 1 run really doesn't mean a whole lot. And well, unfortunately for this North Carolina team, it's meant a whole lot several times. So hopefully, her offense is going to be able to back her up.
Here's a potential chance to take the lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Carson Sneed was thrown out at the plate in a play that, as we showed you, maybe she shouldn't have been out on. But this game now swings for a lead for the Hokies. down in the count, 3-1 against Bennett. Reached on a fielder's choice her first time. And walked her.
You really don't want to walk somebody after a home run, just because you want your team to know that you're in a good space mentally. So you want to be able to, you know, get the strikeout, get a ground out, pop out, you know, something to kind of shift the momentum back to your side and let your team know, hey, I'm still in control. But, you know, when you give that walk or if you hit somebody, that's kind of letting them know, like, maybe I'm not so in control. So it's something that as a pitcher, you really want to try and get ahead and get that next out, you know, after something big happens.
So Virginia Tech does bring in a pinch runner for Bennett. Pinch running over at first. Expect to see Bennett re-enter and play defense at third. One pitch coming to Kylie Aldridge. Aldridge skies it to center. Stubbs is there for another fly ball out.
The batter was Kylie Aldridge.
You tell him, Bre, 2 outs.
I love seeing all the little signals and dances and things that, you know, all the players, the outfielders especially, do for outs and other little things. It's fun. It shows kind of the personality of each player.
Coming into pinch for Virginia Tech is number 28, Grace Chavez.
So the chess match fully underway now for Pete Demore and company. Virginia Tech will call a pinch hitter. It'll be Grace Chavez. She will hit for Tegan Thrunk here. Has 3 hits this year, but 2 of them have been home runs. There's a bona fide reason why she's at the plate with a runner on and 2 out.
Definitely. And just the presence that she has when she's stepping into the box. I mean, look at the look on her face. She looks like she means business.
Big wide open stance and ahead in the count 1-0. Chavez's 2 homers. One came on Wednesday against Gardner-Webb. The other, the aforementioned road victory against Texas. McCachran's 60th pitch of a rounding.
You can see they've gone away, away, away. I wonder if that's just their game plan against her, or if maybe inside is, if she's a pull hitter, if that's what she's looking for, is that inside pitch, so they're going to try to stay away.
Well, now in a 3-1 count, it's a tough spot here for McCachran, because on one hand you say, okay, just don't give her anything to hit, put her on. But this is the 9th spot in the order. You've got Emma Ritter and Cameron Fagan coming up.
Yeah, especially when they are a pinch hitter, you want to attack them. You want to.
And the throw goes into center field, but it was ball 4 anyway. So 2 on, 2 out for Virginia Tech.
Oh, I guess they said that she left early.
Yeah, they're going to rule that Kelsey Bennett, or the pinch runner Luco for Bennett, left early. Let's see.
Oh, and she did.
Yeah,
she left
absolutely did.
Way early.
So Virginia Tech runs their way out of a scoring chance. 1-0 Hokies, though, as Bre Peck homers, and Virginia Tech on top halfway through. Emma Lemley very solid in the circle for Virginia Tech, and she'll be pitching with a lead thanks to Bre Peck's homer in the top of the 4th inning. And Lemley's Hokies on top 1-0. This ACC affair against North Carolina. ACC opener for the Tar Heels. Activity going in the Virginia Tech bullpen. Lindsey Grain on the left side of your screen. Molly Jacobson was on the right. But as of now, this is Lemley's ball game.
Right, and Coach DeMoore said that that's who he wants in the ball game.
Settlemyre, fly ball, center field, tie game!
It was only a matter of time before they adjusted to that rise ball that Emma Lemley has been so effective with. Abby Settlemyre, 4th home run of the season, right over center field. You see this rise ball, it's just right down the center of the plate. And I mean, that's a no-doubter.
Peck went back, but the Tar Heels fired up because Abby Settlemyre, the 5th-year senior, has just tied this game at 1. So, brand new ball game, level at 1. Abby Settlemyre, one of those lefty slappers, delivers some power. Bre Stubbs will stand in 0 for 1 with a strikeout. She'll drop one down foul, but Settlemyre, what a journey her career has been. She was a everyday starter in 2019 and 2020. Tore ACL prior to the 2021 season. This is the first year that she's been fully healthy for the Tar Heels since 2020, and being able to contribute as the starting second baseman, contributing offensively as well.
I was wondering, and this is just me as a pitcher thinking like a pitcher, but Emma Lemley had been so effective with that rise ball, but you know, she had been through the lineup a few times, and so I was wondering, is she going to come out, you know, in the 4th, 5th inning, maybe showing other pitches, showing her drop ball, showing her changeup, trying to do something a little different than what she had been doing, and if she didn't, would the UNC hitters be able to adjust? And obviously they were able to adjust.
Now back-to-back hits, because remember, Middleton had the single. Sneed was thrown out at the plate to end the 3rd inning.
And you can see now she's starting to try to get a little bit lower in the zone. Umpire behind the plate not calling it, and Lemley is not happy that he's not calling it, but you have to think about what he's been seeing this entire game. He's been seeing pitches up in the zone.
Chris Neighbors, our plate umpire today. 3-1 now. Blew it right by her. It's a solid adjustment to make. Full count on Bre Stubbs. Lemley's been pretty effective. This has been a low stress afternoon for the most part until this homer. Now her 40th pitch is fouled off.
Can see now though they're starting to bring it down in the zone a little bit, so that will definitely make it a lot harder on these UNC batters. Even just throwing, it doesn't have to be a strike, it doesn't even have to be a really great pitch, but just throwing something lower in the zone, changing the viewpoint of the hitter is going to completely mess with their eyes.
What a battle. Two number 27s going at it. They're stoic, Pete DeMoore. Another 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball.
This is such a tough situation as a pitcher. You've thrown 9 pitches now. You get really annoyed with the hitter because you just want him to either swing and miss or do something with it, you know, whether it be a ground ball or a pop-up, not a good solid hit, but you get really, really annoyed.
3-2. Bouncer. Thrunk onto first, and Stubbs is out by a half step. It was a battle, but eventually Lemley and the Hokies are able to retire Stubbs. Skylar Brooks, the swinging strikeout victim, her first time. Brooks, a very versatile defensive player for the Tar Heels, was an infielder last year. Carolina's regular starter at second base with a healthy Settlemyre, who has tied this game at 1 with their homer. Settlemyre has taken over the second base duties, and as Don J. Papa says, we need Brooks' defensive abilities out in the outfield this year. So she's been taking over as the right fielder.
You can see right there, Lemley trying to add a little bit of that screw movement to her rise ball to try and get Brooks to lean and chase after that pitch, trying to show her a little bit of a different look rather than just that straight up and down rise.
1-1. Way in on the hands. When you say screw movement, what are you looking at there?
So I affectionately call it the scries. So screw rise ball. It's just going to be a rise ball that instead of getting completely underneath the pitch, which is what's going to cause it to go straight up, you're going to turn your hand to the side a little bit, and it's going to cause it to have a little bit more of that bullet spin or that slide movement. And so what that does is it's super effective against lefties and against lefty slappers because, you know, they're running towards you, and when you get that little bit of a slide motion, it's going to move up and away from their bat.
See how Lemley approaches this 1-2 pitch here to Brooks. It's a bouncer foul.
And most of the time, you don't want to throw drop balls or anything low in the zone to slap hitters because what's their goal? They're trying to get the ball on the ground, right? So you don't want to go into what their game is going to be. So that's why most of the time against slappers, you tend to see people throwing that screw, throwing that rise ball.
And we talked about Coach Papa's philosophy on slap hitters. Bounce it twice. If you're throwing a drop ball, they're able to get on top of it.
Exactly.
Easily get those 2 bounces.
Exactly.
Reaching low, Thrunk again. Good play.
Making her way to the plate to bat for the Tar Heels is number 1,
Kirsten Lasea is the designated player for North Carolina. She'll stride to the plate with bases clear and 2 down. Lasea leading the team in hits and RBI this year. 5th-year senior, really enjoying a bounce-back season in her final go-round. Nearly 350.
This is the type of player that you want to have in your lineup, someone who has that experience, someone who has been consistent at the plate to really act as a leader for your team.
Level count 1-1. Lasea, who started each game this year. Last season, played in just 29 games with 10 starts, so she's seen her role really increase as the productivity has continued to grow. Big looper that stays away from the zone.
That was that changeup that we had talked about earlier. It's a new pitch for her. It's something that she didn't have last year that she's trying to figure out how to throw this year. So that's something that she's going to want to throw as much as she can in, you know, bullpens and scrimmages and things like that against hitters so that she gets that confidence to be able to throw it in games like this.
Lemley Lemley was averaging 11 pitches an inning through the first 3. The next pitch that she throws will be her 20th of this 4th. 3-1. And Isaiah takes the 2-out walk. Now Emma Lemley ready to go back to work to face Kiana Jones. Lemley had 5 strikeouts all in a row in this middle part of the lineup. Stubbs through Emmerling the first trip through. Since then, it's now been 7 straight batters that have, at a minimum, put the ball in play. Shows you the adjustments the Tar Heels are making.
Definitely, and I think, too, Lemley is still so young, and people don't realize that because she is pitching every game for them, and she did play a big role last year in the circle for them, but she's only a sophomore, and so she is still learning. She is still learning how to get through these situations. She's learning how to mentally continue to perform, how to prevent herself from getting frustrated when things like this are happening, and so that's something that people have to keep in mind, is that she is still so young.
Yeah, a pitcher who pitched in 30 games with 23 starts a year ago, but still, that was just as a freshman. It's a big jump to go from being not second fiddle, but 1A and 1B with Keely Richard to now having this be your pitching staff.
Right. Well, as a freshman, it is so comforting to know that if you get into a jam or if you get into a tough situation, Keely Richard is going to be there to back you up.
Well, Lemley strikes out Jones, but the Tar Heels tie the game. Abby Settlemyre blasts one to center field, and the Tar Heels have leveled this one at 1. We play 4. We talked to Pete Demore, the head coach of Virginia Tech. Prior to this game, he made the point that the ACC is so deep and so talented that any single game in conference play is going to be a battle. Number 13, Virginia Tech finds themselves in a battle against 8 and 13 North Carolina. Bailey McCachran back to work. So Tegan Thrunk will lead off this inning for Virginia Tech. You remember the pinch hitter Grace Chavez was at the plate when the runner Luco was called out for leaving first base early. And so it's that 9 spot in the order that gets this 5th inning going. And with a leadoff situation, Coach Demore sends Thrunk back up there.
McCachran has been extremely effective so far for the Tar Heels. However, she has done it by getting behind against almost every single batter. So I would like to see her be able to, kind of turn it around and maybe not throw so many pitches, but she has still done a really good job.
Thrunk stays back on one, right to Jones at first, though. All these batters that McCachran's falling behind, she's walked 3, hit another, but still you would expect Virginia Tech to have a whole lot more of an offensive production compared to what they have so far 2 trips through the order. Strike 1 on Emma Ritter. A pretty rare first pitch strike today from McCachran.
Nice change up by McCachran. Change the speed a little bit, try to offset Emma Ritter's timing.
Now she's ahead in the count 0-2. Trying to put her away.
Close pitch.
Now McCackern gets the sign she wants. She balls and 2 strikes with pitch number 70 coming up for McCackern.
I like to see this approach from Emma Ritter because it's exactly what Coach DeMore said that they were working on, getting her comfortable with getting deeper into counts.
Long foul fly.
He said that previously, you know, she was hitting the ball or you know, getting the outs early in the count. And he said, look, you're still going to be able to hit. Just, you know, wait a little bit longer and see, you know, what they're going to do. You can hit still with 2 strikes.
Trying to do just that here. Reaches for 1, and it drops down just foul. Akron ready to go. And Ritter, one of 2 Hokies, and Lemley, the other, named to the USA Softball Player of the Year Top 50 watch list. Ritter entering this weekend on an 11-game hit streak. 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch today. Looper caught out at short by Alex Brown. Long at bat, but ultimately it's won by McCackern.
Big time from McCackern coming out on top of that battle, especially against arguably, you know, the best hitter in Virginia Tech's lineup.
Ritter came in leading the team in average at 420 on the season, but 0 for 2 so far today. Speaking of 0 for 2, Cameron Fagan flown out to left field twice. Really impressive bounce back from McCackern after giving up the home run to Peck. The next batter, Bennett, drew a walk, and you could tell that McCackern was a little bit rattled by giving up that first home run to the Hokies. But since then, she's been able to retire 3 in a row, trying to make it 4.
Nice changeup. I like that she's starting to utilize that off speed later in the game now. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to save that pitch until later when you think that, you know, they've started to catch up to your fast stuff, and then throwing that changeup in the mix and really getting them off balance.
The 3rd time through the order, against a lineup as prolific as Virginia Tech's, you need something in that back pocket to utilize to keep them off balance a 3rd time through. 3-1. Walked her. Now a potentially dangerous spot. Jamie Bailey is one of 2 Virginia Tech players to reach base both plate appearances so far today. Bailey singled in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. She will stand in now, trying to snap this 1-all tie.
She definitely has the opportunity to do something with her power. Already hitting 6 home runs.
Pop up and foul ground in the 1st pitch, though, and Jones makes the catch. McCackern puts a 0 on the scoreboard, working around the 2-out walk. Still tied at 1.
You will get a full fill of softball.
They are trophy hunting.
This is a team that can beat you from the top of the order to the bottom. Look at this! Megan for Rainbow! Tiara Jennings grand slam! Good!
Come and play my game.
OKC, the destination at the end of the year, the Women's College World Series. Will Virginia Tech get there? And we think that the Hokies have a very good shot of doing so, thanks in large part to that pitcher in the circle, Emma Lemley. Finds herself locked in a battle with North Carolina's Bailey McCachran, though, in a tie game at 1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Both teams trading solo homers in the 4th. Bre Peck for Virginia Tech, Abby Settlemyre for North Carolina. The Tar Heels begin the 5th with a pinch hitter in Lexi Godwin, hitting for Isabella Emmerling.
I love a good pitcher's duel, though. It always makes the game so interesting. Whose offense is going to come out on the other side and back up their pitcher, who has been doing so much for them in the circle.
Godwin looks over a ball, 2-1. We saw McCachran able to bounce back after a rocky 4th with a solid 5th inning. Emma Lemley, by far her highest stress frame, was that 4th. What does the 5th look like for her? 2-1. Godwin comes up empty.
I love what Emma Lemley did right there. She threw that first rise ball. Good pitch, solid pitch. Didn't swing, didn't call it for a strike, but she could tell that she still wanted it. So what did she do? She threw it right again, and what happened? She got that swing and that miss, and I love that. Can you lay off of this twice?
Godwin fights it off foul. Just the 5th at bat of the season for Lexi Godwin.
Really interesting too. The pitchers, Lemley and McCachran, are so different. They throw completely different things. One of them's a righty that's, you know, throwing rise ball, little drop ball, upper 60s. One of them's a lefty throwing curve ball, throwing backdoor curve, throwing changeup, staying low to mid 60s. Yeah, both of them are still so successful, and I love that. I want, you know, young pitchers to see that and say, like, hey, there's not like a cookie cutter mold that I have to fit into to be able to play at this level. I can be like McCachran, I can be like Lemley, and still be just as successful.
And no one right way to do things. 3-2.
See Lemley trying so hard to get that changeup to work for her, but it's just staying a little too high in the zone.
Big walk this would be if Godwin finds her way aboard. Lead-off base runner for the Tar Heels in the 5th.
The Tar Heels have really been testing Lemley these past few innings. You can hear them in the dugout. They're getting so excited, so hyped over the little things. And as a pitcher, when you're in that tough situation, hearing the other team celebrate just makes it that much harder, because, you know, your competitive nature kicks in, and you just want to prove them wrong so badly. But it's great for the Tar Heels that they have that energy and that they're trying to ride this momentum that they're building.
Tar Heel freshman Caroline Fox pinch running over at first. Donna Papa, the 38th year head coach at Carolina, talked with us about her team's situational hitting. It was something that frustrated her after a 1-3 weekend at the home tournament last weekend rather. Alex Brown bunts the first pitch foul. Coach Papa said that she looked at those numbers after last weekend and they made her disappointed at first, but then once she thought a little bit more about it, she said, okay, this means that we are close. All these one-run games. We can just work on some of these situationals a little bit better.
Right, she said that there were several parts of the statistical analysis that she saw where they were doing some things right. There were little things that they were doing right. They were, you know, right there on the cusp of things.
Lemley, a low throw to first, but a good pick by Bailey. It will move the runner up, essentially a swinging bunt. So now a runner in scoring position for the Tar Heels with one down.
And that's that situational hitting that she's talking about right there, being able to move that runner from first to second.
Carson Sneed, who reached via fielder's choice her first time. An extended conversation here. What do you think this is about?
I honestly have no idea. I have no idea what she was questioning. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary happening.
Yeah, same here. So. Well, Chris Neighbors was going to his lineup card. Emma Lemley does not seem pleased by this delay.
Definitely not. Like we spoke about earlier, any kind of pause in the game, it changes up your zone, and you have to sit there and you have to wait, and then you have to try to find it again, and it's not ideal as a pitcher having to wait.
Well, after all that, it's to call up a pinch hitter, Carly Myrtle. First career home run as a pinch hitter in Sunday's game against James Madison, a home loss for the Tar Heels. They'll stand in against Lemley, trying to give North Carolina the lead. And now, Pete DeMore wants to go to the circle. Talk things over here with a pinch hitter at the plate. Meanwhile, North Carolina gathered around. Quick visit. Just a calm down chat and make sure everyone's on the same page in what is a critical moment in the ball game that, especially when you looked at the matchup on paper coming in, you thought that this would not be a 1-1 game in the last of the fifth.
Definitely. But pleasantly surprised, and I love to see the fight out of both teams right now.
1-1 to Myrtle from Lemley. Foul fly for strike two.
If I was Lemley right here, I would just climb a little bit higher with that rise ball. Just go slightly more out of the zone, try to get that swing and miss.
Especially against a cold bat just coming in off the bench. A critical 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Lemley does climb the ladder, strikes out Myrtle, and gets out number two.
I mean, you couldn't have placed that pitch any more perfectly. You saw how before she swung and was able to get a little bit of that barrel on the ball. With this one, it's just perfectly out of the zone, but it is so hard not to swing at that pitch, especially when you like the ball up in the zone like we saw in the previous swing. So, I mean, that was perfectly executed by Lemley.
Now Destiny Middleton Tasker trying to drive in the runner Fox. Middleton singled up the middle with a runner on second in the third inning. That runner was Carson Sneed, who was thrown out trying to score from second base. Slow-mo replay that we showed you later revealed that Sneed may not have been tagged. But Carolina did not review it. Bunt dropped down. And no play. Runners at the corners.
It's a beautiful bunt. You couldn't have placed that any nicer. So right here, she gets it just right off the end of the bat, and it stops dead in that wet dirt, and you know, doesn't really roll forward. Oh, what are they calling?
Emma Lemley doesn't seem to know.
She's going back up to the plate.
Unless they're saying somehow the ball hit her on its way down while she was still in the box.
I have no idea how that would happen though, because it was like a pop-up bunt.
Right.
I don't know what happened there.
Huh. Well, runner at second, 2 down. Middleton looks over a ball. Looked like a good pitch.
That was a really nice pitch in my opinion, but like I said earlier, this umpire has been seeing pitches up in the zone, up in the zone, up in the zone with that rise ball, and so that's the zone that Lemley has established for herself. So when she does throw those good pitches low in the zone, they may be strikes, but that's not what he's been seeing this whole game, so he's more likely not to call it.
Well, 2-1 now to count on Middleton. Off for strike 2. Not a chance that was an illegal pitch, was it?
It may have been an illegal pitch.
That's been a problem for Lemley through her career. There was a big storyline last season as a freshman.
It could have been the illegal pitch that brought her back to the box, which, like you said, is something that Lemley struggled with last season, but has been able to overcome. They said they thought that it mainly had to do with her hip mobility, that her hips were tight, so she was having a hard time keeping her back toe on the ground because of the tightness of her hips, but that's something that she was able to work through and able to fix in this offseason.
Yes, Pete DeMore said it was something that they recognized in season, but it's really tough to make a mechanical adjustment during the grind of a season.
It's so hard, and during the season, yes, you still want to have your days where you're working on your mechanics and things like that, but you can't expect to make a big mechanical change like that.
Middleton, it'll hang up for Peck, and the inning is over. So we stay tied at 1. Lemley, with some traffic behind her, keeps us level through 5. Tied at 1, on to the 6th. North Carolina stranded a runner in the last of the 5th inning. And there was a bit of a strange play on this bunt by Destiny Middleton. But Kaylin, as you saw right there, this is an illegal pitch by Emma Lemley.
It is. You can see clearly when she strode out in her motion, her back foot came up off the ground, which is called crow hopping, and that is illegal. You have to keep contact with the ground with your back foot, or it's an illegal pitch. So it turned into a ball, and like we were saying during the break, is it actually benefited Virginia Tech, which, you know, usually the illegal pitch would do the opposite, but it was good for them.
Yeah, because the illegal pitch in that spot got put in play. Would have been an infield single, which also would have been Destiny Middleton's 100th career hit.
Oh, wow. We were saying, too, over the break, it would be nice if, like in football, how you can choose, like, do I want to go with the outcome of this player, pick the illegal pitch? And in this situation, it would have been nice for North Carolina if they could have chosen to keep that bunt, because it was a really great bunt.
Yeah, it's like when someone's offside in football and you complete a 25-yard pass, you're going to take the 25-yard pass.
Right.
Good defense fielding the position by McCackren. So Bailey McCackren has allowed just 2 hits today. A single from Ginny Bailey in the first and a solo homer by Bre Peck in the 4th. Now she'll face Emma Jackson, the Hokies DP. 0 for 2 of the fly out to center and a grounder to third. The DP spot for Virginia Tech has been a bit of a rotating door through the year. Meredith Slaw, preseason All-ACC pick, has hardly played this year. And she's one that could slot in there, but Jackson sends a fly ball that gives the Hokies the lead.
That was an absolute shot. 100% a no-doubter. As soon as she made contact with that thing, I knew it was gone. Really, really great job by Emma Jackson. And this is an outside pitch, actually not too much over the plate, but maybe a little bit too high. You can see it's about belt height, and she's able to just crank that thing over the fence.
Virginia Tech's 47th home run of the season. And now here's the player that hit the first one, Bre Peck. They average just over 2 homers a game. They've hit 2 today.
That's a crazy stat. 2 home runs every game.
You know, a conversation with Pete DeMore, you always start off those conversations to, how's things going? What's the state of the union on your team? He goes, well, we're swinging the bat pretty well. You look around and you say to yourself, well, that's an obvious statement for your day.
You think?
There's Coach DeMore. His hitting philosophy is for the offense, you got to make swings count. Peck, fly ball, well foul. He really likes the fact that his team is hitting for power, but they don't strike out a ton. When you look through the Hokies today, they've struck out twice. So that's now 59 strikeouts in the season to 47 home runs. Heck of a ratio.
They also have really great walk numbers as well, and so that just goes to show you that they have really great pitch selection. They're seeing the ball really well.
Yeah, they came in walking more than they strike out as a team.
That's exactly what you want from your team, you know, to have low strikeout numbers, high walk numbers, and really high home run numbers.
And that's continued today. It's 4 walks, 2 homers, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
For Virginia Tech at the plate today.
Yeah.
2-2. Clangs off defense. Another 2-2 will be the 90th pitch from Bailey McCackren, who all things considered has pitched very well today. Bouncer back to McCackren. Another 1-3 put out.
That's that changeup that we were talking about earlier that has been extremely effective for McCackren. I wish that she would throw it more than what she is right now, because every single time that she's thrown it, it's been very effective for her.
Cassie Bennett's reached her fielder's choice and walked today. She'll hit with the bases clear. Catherine down in the count as she's been much of the afternoon. That's a nice pitch for a called strike.
Another changeup for McCackren.
Trying to limit the damage this frame to just 1 run. Two-one pitch. Bennett scorches it, but foul. Two-two. Bennett really battling here against McCackren.
she is, and she has been on every single pitch. You know, she fouled that one straight back. The other one she hit hard down the left field line. So she's just barely missing these pitches.
There's Neighbors delivering some new softballs. Next pitch. That one weakly tapped foul. Virginia Tech 3-0 in ACC play already this season. They opened conference action against NC State last week. A win today, if Virginia Tech can hang on, it'll be their 11th straight regular season win against an ACC foe. They're 25th in the last 27 games. 2-2.
Good eye by Bennett. Really close pitch, but just a ball or two off the plate.
Now a payoff. Bennett stays back on it and smacks it to left for a hit. Bobbled over there deep in the corner. Bennett will stop at second. Kind of stumbled a bit around first there.
Looks like she may have gotten tripped up herself. And that was a hard hit on that changeup from McCachran. And what I wish that she would have done is maybe thrown it just slightly lower in the zone. I think that it would have been a much easier ball to field rather than, you know, throwing that pitch a little bit more up in the zone. She was able to get more of the barrel on it.
After a long at bat, it turns into the second double of the season for Kelsey Bennett. And Pete Demore will call a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter for the Hokies is Madison Hanson, who has made several starts as the DP this year for Virginia Tech. Looks over the first pitch for a ball. Hanson, a returning contributor from last year's Super Regional team, and she was known as Madison Roundtree. She got married over the summer. As Pete Demore said, she got married, and all of a sudden her offensive production has gone off the charts.
It's not something you see often happening, but something that has been happening more recently because of COVID and, you know, girls getting 5th and 6th years.
And Hanson shoots a liner out to short, and the veteran lines out. And this game stays 2-1 Virginia Tech, but the Hokies take the lead on an Emma Jackson homer to center field. Jackson got all of it, puts her team on top. Galen, you and I have talked throughout the broadcast about how different Emma Lemley and Bailey McCachran are as pitchers, and you look at the strikeout number there at the bottom of your screen. This pair have gotten it done different ways throughout the day, but they've both been really effective.
Definitely, and it does make sense that Emma Lemley has more strikeouts being that rise ball pitcher. As a rise ball pitcher, you tend to have more strikeouts, but Bailey McCachran has been phenomenal holding this explosive Virginia Tech lineup to only 2 runs. It's insane.
2 Virginia Tech runs coming on a pair of solo homers, one from Emma Jackson, one from Bre Peck. North Carolina's Abby Settlemyre at the plate now has driven in the only Tar Heel run on a solo homer. It's pretty remarkable how this game swings right back to Virginia Tech taking the lead on a solo homer in the top of an inning, and then Settlemyre leading off the bottom of the ensuing inning. Can she come through again? Denton's a bunt this time. Triples foul for strike 2.
I love slap hitters who can also hit for power. I think it makes you so much more effective as a hitter because you never know, what they're going to do. Are they going to slap? Are they going to hit it over the fence? Always has you guessing.
Nothing into the count on Settlemyre. She'll hit it sharply. It'll bounce off the bag and be a fair ball. Settlemyre digs for 2. She'll be in there with a leadoff double.
And she does it again for North Carolina, leading off with that double.
Have yourself a day, Abby Settlemyre. Not much that Jamie Bailey could do about this one.
It's a hard hit, bounces just right off the bag, and with the speed of Settlemyre, she's able to get to 2.
So now, if you're North Carolina, you've got the tying run at second in scoring position, and the heart of your order, 3, 4, and 5 coming up.
This is where that situational hitting comes into play that Coach Papa said that she was really hoping her team would be able to come through with.
The other thing Coach Papa told us is that in leadoff double situations this year, he's been playing it old school, bunting the runner over to third to set up the sac fly possibility. And a really good bunt there from Bre Stubbs to sacrifice herself. One down, runner at third. Skylar Brooks is at the plate. 0 for 2 with a swinging strikeout and a ground out to short. So if you're Brooks here, can you sit back and wait on a rise ball from Lemley? Because especially a lefty slapper like this, you don't want to have Brooks put this ball in play to the right side of the infield, right?
Definitely. So I would be going up. I would not throw anything low in the zone. I would be adding a little bit of that screw movement to it to try and, get her to lean a little bit, miss it with the barrel. I'd be trying to pull out all the tricks to keep her from getting the ball on the ground. But this is a tough situation too, because you also have the sac fly possibility. So if you do get that ground ball, you want to keep it on the infield. You don't want to allow it to get to the outfield.
Brooks looks over, strike 2. North Carolina trying to open ACC play with a win against Virginia Tech. They'll need to come back to hand the Hokies their first ACC loss since April 15th of last year. Lemley ahead in the count, 1-2. Great swing from Brooks, maybe a bit of an emergency hack. Don't want to get rung up there.
If I was Lemley right here, I'd want to go kind of up and away with that rise ball, try to get the swing and miss, because ultimately the strikeout is the goal.
Yeah, you can put out number 2 on the board and hold the runner at third. That opens up a whole bunch of possibilities for facing Lissay in a righty-righty matchup. There's Settlemyre, led off with the double. Another 1-2. Team breezed through the first 3 innings. With the score level, 0-0. Both teams homered in the 4th. Tying us at 1. Virginia Tech with a homer in the top of the 6th. Now the Tar Heels trying to answer back. A third straight 1-2 pitch from Emma Lemley. Brooks. Thrunk makes the play and Settlemyre has to hold. Infield pop-up for out number 2 does the job.
That's a really, really great outcome for the Hokies and Emma Lemley. Getting that infield pop-up, nothing to the outfield, to be able to get out number 2 and keep that runner at third.
On the year, and 8 of the 13 losses by 1 run.
And I know that's got to be so frustrating for the team because you're so close. It's not like you're getting beat really badly by teams. You're right there hanging on with them, but still can't get it done.
Kirsten Lisea at the plate, Lemley in the circle. Back-to-back pitches low in the zone in this righty-righty matchup.
You can hear the dugout really cheering on Lisea. Not a bad miss. But Lisea in her last at bat drew a walk. So, you know, she's going to be really patient here until she gets her pitch.
It's the only walk the Tar Heels have drawn today. Cuts and misses, 2-2, Lemley a strike away. Kiana Jones awaits on deck if the inning gets that far. Lemley delivers. Got her swinging! Carolina put a runner on third with just 1 down, and Emma Lemley, walking the tightrope, gets out of trouble. Low-scoring game with all 3 runs coming on home runs today. Bre Peck for Virginia Tech, top of the 4th inning, puts the Hokies on top 1-0. The answer quick for North Carolina. Abby Settlemyre levels the score in the bottom of that 4th. Then onward to the 6th, still tied at 1. Emma Jackson, dead center. Hokies take a 2-1 lead. North Carolina would threaten in the bottom of the 6th, putting a runner on third with 1 out. And the Tar Heels were not able to score. So, on to the decisive 7th inning. The Tegan Thrunk begins with a ball that rolls to the wall. Thrunk will stop at second. She'll have herself a leadoff double. Just the 3rd of her young Hokie career, and an insurance run potentially in the cards for the Hokies.
Cochran wants to give her team an opportunity to come out on top right here, so it's going to be really hard with the lineup right here for the Hokies, starting back with Emma Ritter and a runner on second base, but she's going to have to try and hold them so that her team can come up in the bottom of the 7th and try to get something done.
Yeah, it's the top of the Virginia Tech order here. Common wisdom would suggest that you don't sacrifice the runner over. Ritter taking all the way.
Right, when you have someone like Ritter who those are her numbers. You definitely don't want to tell her to bunt.
And the only reason why you would is that this turned out to be such a low-scoring game.
Right.
Ritter, that is why you don't bunt.
That is the definition of don't bunt, hit dingers. That's Emma Ritter. How incredible for her to be able to just extend the lead for her Virginia Tech team here in the top of the 7th. No doubter, just absolutely crushed it over the scoreboard.
Who was it in the Major League? Justin Turner of the Dodgers, I think, had that T-shirt that said how to bunt. 1, don't.
Yeah.
2, hit dingers.
It's true. When you have that kind of power, yeah, 100%, swing all the way.
Virginia Tech, even in a low-scoring game like this one, they came in averaging 2 and change home runs a game. They go over it today. Look at those numbers.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm sure the only other team that even, you know, rivals that is Oklahoma.
And any time in the softball world that you're mentioned in the same sentence with Oklahoma, you're doing something right.
Exactly, especially offensively.
DeMoore trying to lead his Virginia Tech team to second straight ACC regular season title. Last year, 1 win shy of the promised land. Played a decisive winner-take-all game 3 of the Blacksburg Super Regional against Florida. Came up on the wrong end of that one. Fagan looks it over 2-2, and now the Hokies find themselves 3 defensive outs away from a 4-0 start in ACC play. Fagan, a bouncer, knocked down by Jones. No one's there, and Fagan's safe.
Seems like the momentum has definitely shifted towards the Virginia Tech side of things. And that's just that's a really hard ball to play, and just a little too far off the plate, or too far off the bag for her to be able to get back in time.
It is an E3 on Jones, but it's the first time today that 3 straight Virginia Tech hitters have reached base in any form or fashion. Jones.
Batting for Virginia Tech, number 2, Jamie Bailey.
Jamie Bailey now for Virginia Tech. Her single in the first inning, for the longest time, was the only hit that Virginia Tech had in this game. Bailey knocked down at short by Brown. She'll go to second, but not quite in time, and Jamie Bailey has herself her second hit of the day.
Things have definitely seemed to kind of bust open offensively for the Hokies. They've just gotten on a roll here.
You felt like it was a matter of when, not if, Virginia Tech would have a big inning. I think you and I are both a little surprised that it took until the 7th, but this offense has just been so potent all year long.
Definitely, and I think that speaks to what a great game by Bailey McCachran. I mean, she did absolutely phenomenal to hold the Hokies all the way up until the 7th inning, really, and give her team an opportunity to win this game.
So the Tar Heels go to the bullpen. McCachran's day is done. Talia Hannipol, the second pitcher of the day for North Carolina, taking over for Bailey McCachran. And a pitcher that Donna J. Papa is starting to rely on a little bit more out of the bullpen.
She tends to have east-west movement, curve screw. She's a pitch-to-contact kind of pitcher, which means that she's not going to have huge strikeout numbers, and she's going to stay in the low 60s.
New Mexico transferring her second season in Chapel Hill. 7th inning has been kind to Virginia Tech and chases Bailey McCachran from the game, but even with the Hokies plating these couple of runs and threatening for more in the 7th, it should not take away from the performance that McCachran gave her team today. And Green 0 for 3, trying to come through for the Hokies. This inning began with a Tegan Thrunk double. She scored on the Emma Ritter homer. Cameron Fagan reached via an error, that infield single for Jamie Bailey. And to think, the thought crossed my mind of, should Emma Ritter bunt to try and push across one insurance run? Promptly homers to left.
Yeah. It's all right. I like what Hannipol is bringing to the table here. It's different from what we saw from McCachran. Hannipol is a righty. She's not throwing as hard as McCachran was, so she's in the low 60s.
Oh, and to first, that's a double play. Force play over at third. Milton stepped on the bag. Jones did well to pick it at first. That is a critical couple of outs right there for the Tar Heels.
Insanely critical. So important and great for the momentum shift towards the Tar Heels. Ground ball hit to third base, and she kind of bobbles it, but she's able to stay with it and make a solid throw and get the out at first.
That is the 8th double play turned by North Carolina this year. Let's take a look at this. That play is under review, but that look right there, it showed it. It was a great pick by Kiana Jones.
That's a very clear out at first.
I don't think it is possible to overstate how important and timely that double play is for North Carolina. If Hannipol can work her way out of this frame and keep this a 3-run game, opens up a world of possibilities as far as comebacks are concerned.
Definitely.
Chris Neighbors, the plate umpire, and Amaris Addison, the first base umpire, the gentlemen that are taking a look at that underneath the umbrella. And it should be a call confirmed situation. The video right there showed that Green was definitely out. Show it to you again here. Jones, back foot stays on the bag. A tremendous pick.
Yeah, very clearly has the ball in her glove right there before her foot touches the bag.
Ball is confirmed. It's a double play for the Tar Heels. Now Hannipol and out away from getting out of this frame. Good job by Kiana Jones to bounce back after the error earlier in the inning. But an out to end the frame, a lot easier said than done when Emma Jackson's at the plate. Her homer in the 6th inning, breaking the tie, giving the Hokies a 2-1 lead. Swinging at the first pitch, fouls it off. Fourth homer of the season. How about this? She's now got 10 hits on the year. 4 of them are homers.
That's 400% homers. I love how quiet she gets when Hannipol starts her motion. You can see she has a little bit of a bat shake at the beginning, you know, but as soon as Hannibal goes into that motion, she immediately quiets everything down, and it's almost cold, you know, it almost is like, oh, what's about to happen?
Jackson skies it left field. Snead crosses the foul line and makes the catch. Hokies do tack on 2 more on the Emma Ritter homer. Last chance for the Tar Heels. 3 runs over the last couple of innings have taken a 1-1 tie and turned it into a 4-1 lead for visiting Virginia Tech. Tar Heels and Hokies in a series opener here today. Due to inclement weather, doubleheader tomorrow, 2:30 ACC Network Extra, 6 o'clock ACC Network for the series finale. Pam Ward, Jenny Dalton-Hill have those for you. Then on Sunday, a couple of more games here in the Triangle. Notre Dame and NC State at noon. Louisville and Duke at 2. Softball coverage starting to get cranked up in full on ACC Network. And you love to see. Last hope for the Tar Heels, bottom of the 7th. Kiana Jones, Isabella Emmerling, Alex Brown. Jones 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Lemley back to work here for Virginia Tech. 8 strikeouts in the contest for Lemley. 5 of them came in a row, first through the 3rd inning. North Carolina has made adjustments to do a better job putting the ball in play on the 2nd, now 3rd trips through the order. But still, Lemley's kept them off the scoreboard, sans the Settlemyre homer.
And that's a nice pitch by Lemley. Staying low in the zone right now at this at-bat. Really trying to keep these North Carolina hitters off balance since she's thrown so heavily with that rise ball all game.
Up and miss. The 2-2. Jones fights it off. Now the big question for Virginia Tech, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, is finding that other arm. Is it going to be Lindsey Green, the freshman? Is it going to be Molly Jacobson? They will step up and help provide a second option to get Virginia Tech through a weekend where they only have to throw Emma Lemley twice. 2-2 pitch to Jones, another foul ball. And we talked to Pete DeMore and said, is the goal to eventually develop a 3-pitcher rotation? He says, absolutely not. We're going to see Emma Lemley twice in a weekend. And as of now, he's not afraid to put her out there a 3rd time. She pitched all 3 games against NC State. Not all of them in a starting role, but he wants to utilize Lemley, and he says he doesn't use conference games for development. Conference games are not winning.
That's true. That's true. You don't want to use conference games for development.
Jones strikes out swinging for a 3rd time. Lemley picks up her 9th K of the afternoon.
I love that we get a strikeout from Emma Lemley on something other than a rise ball. It just shows the growth that she's been able to accomplish. Look at that drop ball. It's so pretty. It also has a little bit of a curve to it, so it's kind of like a drop curve that we're seeing right there on the lower outside part of the plate. But going back to what you said about Coach DeMore and the other 2 pitchers on their staff, and, you know, he said that he really needs for them to get ahead. He said that's really what they're missing. They're not getting ahead, and they're not getting outs or attacking the zone. And we can see from the way that Emma Lemley pitches, she attacks the zone every single pitch, and that's what he's looking for from his other 2 pitchers.
Pinch hitter is Annie Kate Dalton for the Tar Heels. Isabella Emmerling, the starting catcher, has already been pinch hit for, so if the Tar Heels score 3 in exactly 3 runs this inning, Dalton, who is a catcher and has been splitting time with Emmerling, would have to go in the game defensively. The quickly 0-2, and the former high school football kicker, Annie Kate Dalton.
Really, that's so cool.
With 3 extra points in the state championship game in 2018.
No way, that
Yep.
is so awesome.
It's a unique 2-sport athlete combination right there.
Definitely.
Dalton strikes out swinging. Strikeout number 10 for Lemley.
This one, she does what she does best, going up and in with that rise ball on the hands. Really pretty pitch.
So the Hokies and out away. The final hope for the Tar Heels is Alex Brown. Singled in the 3rd inning. It's also bounced out to the pitcher. Imagine for Virginia Tech that Lemley will get the start presumably in game 2 of tomorrow's doubleheader, game 3 of the series. And obviously available if things get tough in the middle game of the series, set for 2:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we saw her several times tomorrow.
So Brown makes her way aboard. We'll continue here for the Tar Heels with Carson Sneed due to come to the plate. That is an infield single for Brown, so a 2-hit game for her. Carson Sneed reaching a fielder's choice and a swinging strikeout today. Lemley 1 out away from her 10th complete game of the season. Her 10th start. Now a strike away.
Lemley still has so much velocity on the ball, even after throwing 105 pitches, throwing all 7 innings. She, you know, it reminds me so much of Keely Richard in that aspect, just putting the team on her back.
Her 0-2 pitch to Sneed. Out of play, foul. Brown singled, is aborted first, and another 1-2 pitch to Sneed. Tapper back, picked up Aldridge, no play, and the tying run will come to the plate for North Carolina.
I love the fight that I'm seeing from North Carolina right now. They are just not going down without a fight. They're really making it hard for Emma Lemley to shut things down. Perfectly executed swinging bunt.
Aldridge wisely didn't try and make a throw on it. So back to the top of the order for Destiny Middleton, 1 out of 3 today. Should Middleton make her way on board? On deck is Abby Settlemyre. Her solo homer, the 1 run for North Carolina. Settlemyre also led off the 6th with a double that was stranded at 3rd. Got to get to her first, though. 1-1 on Middleton.
These are the kind of situations, though, that pitchers like Emma Lemley live for. Just the pressure is such a privilege. It's an honor to be able to be in the circle in these high pressure situations, and she's the type of pitcher who's not going to back down from it.
Middleton, 1-2 now. Back-to-back two-out infield hits. Keeping this game alive. Lemley's 1-2. Another 1-2 pitch on the way to Middleton. Veteran her 4th season with the Tar Heels. Lemley will deliver. Middleton on the ground. Over to first in time. And Virginia Tech will start ACC play 4-0. One of the nation's best home run hitting teams hits 3 of them. And that gets the job done against North Carolina today.
I love the fight that I saw from both teams, from both pitchers, Lemley and McCachran. I love the hitting that we saw from both teams. Neither team was going to give it up today, and the Hokies ended up coming away with the win.
So all 5 runs in this game scoring via the home run. Virginia Tech with 3 of them, North Carolina with 1. For our producer, Tanner Phipps, my broadcast partner, Kaylin Arnold, I'm Matt Krause saying thanks so much for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. North Carolina and Virginia Tech, and a fun one on this Friday afternoon in Chapel Hill. And the Hokies emerge victorious 4-1. Have a great rest of your Friday night.